Today we are going to install this complete exhaust system from Tab Performance on my 2016 Harley Davidson Road Glide Ultra. So this is the 50 cal exhaust from Tab Performance. This stuff is super beefy. I don't know if you can tell or if it really shows through on video just how massive this exhaust is. But this is 5" in diameter at the end here. Look at that. Zombie baffles in that baby. Yeah, you can see clean right through there. So that's the 50 cal slip-ons with their 2.2 head pipe and black heat shield. Anything I do to the bike right now, I'm switching from chrome to black, working on black and everything out just for a change of pace. Went complete black on the exhaust. Their design has this cross member here, which is a very tiny channel. It's hidden. It's a little bit different than typical 2-into-2 exhaust or true dual exhaust because it does have the interconnecting chamber here. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you and tell you that I understand performance and how the exhaust works, and I know that there's parameters and whatever. I just want good sounding exhaust that looks good and performs well. I just trust that they are telling me the right thing. That's enough babbling. I've got all this stuff unpacked. I've looked it over. It looks absolutely perfect, no flaws. So of course the first things we need to do is remove the saddlebags and start getting set up for disassembly of the old exhaust. So to begin with, I just removed my front rider footboard, and there's just a bolt here, and then there would be one here, but I've got the Ciro frame mounted highway pegs. So I actually just removed the pivot pin from underneath the footboard. Goes right in here. And pulled it off that way. Then I backed out the O2 sensors, which you can see right here. And then I just undid the support for the slip-on and loosened up the exhaust clamp. I'll show you that on the other side. Alright, so the nut on the underside of your exhaust clamp is a 9/16. And these two nuts are 1/2 inch. These neighbor haters are feeling nice and loose, which is going to be pretty nice when it comes to sliding them off. Nice. Now these are ready to polish up and sell. The exhaust that we just pulled off of here was neighbor haters, and I've actually been pretty happy with the neighbor haters. I'm running them with decatted stock headers, and the sound's been pretty good and things like that. I'm really excited to get this new exhaust on, but I thought it might come up as a question what I was running before, because there's going to be sound comparisons and all that in the video as well, but I just thought I'd let you know ahead of time. Our next step is going to be to start disassembling this cross member. This seems to be pretty rusted on, so I'm going to go ahead and beat on it a little bit. I'll save you the pain of listening to that. Alright, we got that loosened up a little bit. Pretty good actually. It was on there. It was on there. Now I believe we need to remove this bracket. That's a 3/16 hex wrench. Ooh, we're not going to be able to do it with the socket. There's not enough room. That's a bummer. I'm just going to loosen these for now because I'm not ready to actually remove the bracket yet. I'm going to try to do this without actually removing the heat shields. 1/2 inch socket, 6" extension, and hopefully we can get all of these loosened up. It's a good idea to spray some WD-40 or PB Blaster on these nuts and kind of give them a chance to loosen up a little bit. I don't have too many miles on my bike, and I've had these headers off because these are actually different headers. They're decatted stock headers. So we're just going to get these loosened up for now. Not fully remove them until I'm ready. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to this one without taking the heat shield off. The front nuts, I don't think I'm going to be able to get you a very good view on. I don't know if there's any way you can see where these are. But I'm going to try to get to those. To get to this one, I had to completely loosen up the heat shield so I could slide it down. And that gave me just enough room to get in here with a 1/2 inch deep socket on a 3/8 drive socket wrench. All right, now we can slide this flange away from the exhaust port on the cylinder. You probably won't be able to see it, but I'm going to try to do the same thing on this side. And then there's one more nut right underneath here. It's a 9/16 nut, but we're going to need a 1/2 inch drive extension. So right now we're about an hour into the project, just getting things apart, but I got a couple things that were pretty stubborn on mine, so your results may vary. All right, just a few last things to do before we can start installing our new exhaust. You want to get in here with a pick and remove this old gasket, because we're going to go ahead and replace that with a new one. I have engine lights. I don't know why I'm wasting my time with a flashlight. Just want to make sure this is nice and clean and nothing's left in here from that old gasket. We're going to put some anti-seize on these studs. Looks like they're getting a little bit rusty. We're going to go ahead and remove this bracket with a 5/16 hex bit socket. And then we're going to go back underneath and finish removing these two nuts. Alright, so that about completes disassembly. We're ready to start putting on the new exhaust. But first we need to put in the new exhaust port gaskets. So in order to install these gaskets, I borrowed this gasket seal installer tool from my buddy. Thanks, Dominic. I'll put a link to this if I can find it down in the description in case you guys want to pick one up. It's from a company called Jim's. It's from Jim's, made in the USA. And what you do is just put the seal right on the tool. We'll insert it into the exhaust port, and then we'll just put the flange nuts on, tighten it down, and it's going to press that seal right into place. Make life a little bit easier than trying to do it while you're working around the actual header. I bought exhaust seals from Harley Davidson in anticipation to be prepared, and in retrospect I should have just waited because they actually come with tab performance headers. As soon as one side starts feeling snug, I'm moving to the other side. That way you get it pressed in a little bit without it getting crinkled or anything, and you won't have to worry about exhaust leaks. We are ready to begin reassembly, installing the new exhaust. Tearing it all apart was fun, but this is going to be way cooler, I promise. So the first step is going to be to get the factory flange and snap ring off of your existing head pipe. So if you have a snap ring tool, that makes this job way easier. I'll drop a link to one of these in the descriptions as well. I actually borrowed this from a buddy, so that may be a possibility for you. I definitely want to get my own because even though it's something that I'm rarely going to use, this is going to save you a lot of time, I promise, because I've done it with the pliers before and this is way better. So we're over here at the new head pipe, and what you'll notice is 4 bungs for O2 sensors. So just depending on what you're running, just plug the opposite ones. And I'm still running the stock O2 sensors, so I'm going to go ahead and plug the 18mm O2 sensors. I'm going to put a little bit of anti-seize on these threads, right? Just to keep things easy for when I do install the new O2 sensors. Then we'll just snug these down. Next we want to install the flanges, and you want this inlet facing towards the exhaust port. And then we can use our snap ring separator tool here again. Dude, I can't even tell you how much faster this is than trying to monkey around with the pliers. Dom, you are a great friend, thank you. Alright, so now we have this bracket here. We're going to install that on the Road Glide. This bracket just replaces the one that we removed earlier. So we're just going to use the stock bolts and run them back in. Now we're ready to install our new Tab Performance 2x2 head pipe. What you want to do is work the front one in first. The name of the game here is loose. We're going to put everything on loose, not finger tight, just loose. Once you get that front started, pull back on the rear head pipe. Might want to make sure your bike is in gear. Now pull back on your rear cylinder head pipe, and she should slip into position. Again, we're still leaving everything loose. Alright, next we need to get this bolt through here. I think we're going to just bring it around this way. Then try to get the bolt in. That vice grip's really helping to keep everything together where you need it. Now we can go ahead and snug up this mount here, or this clamp. And now we've reached the point on our journey where we get to install the new cross-through pipe. So we'll just work this onto the new pipe. Alright, we're going to reinstall the factory bolts into the back of the transmission casing. We're not going to tighten these down just yet, but I do want to just get them started a little bit. Just use a 7/16 ratchet, open end ratchet on the back side, and then we can use a socket on this side. And now we can tighten these up. Alright, now that we've got everything for the head pipe snugged down nice and tight, I'm going to just go over it with a towel, wipe everything down, get fingerprints off of it and oils and things like that. It's going to be covered up anyways, but now we can go ahead and install our 50 cals. Things are starting to come together. We'll just reuse the exhaust clamps that were on the last pipes. Once we get this exhaust clamp on, we can move to the back and reinstall our bracket bolts. I'm not going to tighten this stuff up quite yet because I want to make sure that we're able to get it adjusted where we want it, right? Alright, now I can't say that this next part's going to be a lot of fun, but it's where things are really going to start coming together because we're about to add the heat shields. There's the new exhaust. Tab performance from front to back. Got the 2-into-2 headers, 50 cal slip-ons, zombie baffles. The thing is mean. It sounds like a monster. I tell you what, I like it. I like it. The black looks good. Saw the difference in the sound comparison between the neighbor haters and the tab performance. Cold start, flybys. Man, I hope it comes through on the video. The sound, like even riding it, I can tell it's loud. Links in the description of this video and in the comments, pinned comment, if you are interested in checking the tab performance exhaust out yourself. And that's gonna do it. Stay safe out there as always. I'll catch you in the next video from Touring Midwest.